Welcome all. You know, some days you wake up alone in Ohio and you're miserable, as you would assume. And then you get this urge inside you to create something meaningful, something to resonate with people, something to help people in their time of need and sorrow. And so then you think, let's make a tier list video about United States presidents and whether or not I could beat them in a fight. To give you a little context, my fighting bio, I'm about 6 feet tall, or as my doctor would say, 5'11". I'm a cool 185 pounds. I have a Planet Fitness membership. So good luck to these guys. My fighting history, I'm a career 0-1. That one loss coming in 3rd grade, where I fought a kid who was a little bit bigger than me. And I ended up getting my face whitewashed in the snow. And then I cried alone on a swing set. But let's not dwell on incredibly painful memories, and let's just get right into it.
Yeah. Dead faces on me, I'ma throw it up.
When you think of George W. Bush, you just think athletic specimen. If this guy wasn't president, he could have been in the NBA, he could have been in the NFL, he could have been in the MLB, TLC, AT&T, NSFW. Look at the reflexes he showcases here as he has a shoe thrown in his fucking head. Now watch this drive. Now watch this perfect strike he throws immediately after conducting 9/11. All that being said, if this was strictly a 1v1 and Dick Cheney wasn't involved, there was no hunting rifles involved whatsoever, this is a pretty easy win. I'm not too worried about George W. Let's just take care of all these old guys as well. Pretty much every president whose photo is just a painting of themselves, I'm not very worried about. Mostly because 1, they're dead, 2, they're probably British, and 3, there's no footage of them squatting anything below parallel, and I've looked for it. So I'm beating all these guys except for Andrew Jackson, just because he looks really scary. I do also want to touch on William Henry Harrison because his life is just very funny. He was considered too old and weak to be president, so he gave this long speech in the cold rain to kind of win people over, to prove to people that he was this strong man. And then he died of pneumonia. Jimmy Carter, I mean, I think Mother Nature has kind of already decided that one. Same with HW.
Holy shit!
Take it easy. Rock with your boy.
Turn the fuck
Damn,
up!
son, where'd you find this?
Holy shit!
No. Ronald Reagan. He had dementia, and he might end up with turbo dementia after this is all said and done. It'd be bedtime for Bonzo for sure. Only thing trickling down here would be his nosebleed. He's gonna wish there was no war on drugs. He's gonna wish he had some of those drugs after I'm done with him. Thank you folks. Yeah, like I said, he's old with dementia, so I'm definitely kicking the shit out of Ronald Reagan. Richard Nixon is just the figurehead of secondhand embarrassment. He's the only president who's ever resigned. He lost an election solely just because he looked gross on television. He used to drive his wife around on dates with other men before they got married, and then eventually she was just like, I guess. You look at him and you just want to pinch his cheeks. He kind of looks like Droopy the dog. This is another easy win, probably one of the shorter fights on this list, save maybe John Adams. JFK seems just very horny. I don't know if that's just propaganda, but he also had a bad back and he was filled with drugs at all times, which is probably a plus for him, to be honest. So if we're talking closed ceiling environment, this is definitely a fair fight. Not too much to say about Calvin Coolidge except for the fact that he had a pet raccoon in the White House, which was sent to him to be eaten. And that terrifying fact aside, I'm not too worried about Calvin. Joe Biden. Bill Clinton is probably the most recent president that I have no memory of in the office whatsoever. I'm very aware of his travel history. I don't know too much about the whole thing, truly. I will say, like Andrew Jackson, he's just a scary looking man, especially as he's aged. There's something just screaming at you when you look too deeply in his eyes for too long. So there's a bit of an intimidation factor for more than one reason. So I feel like we have to go fair fight. Speaking of travel destinations, Donald Trump. Donald Trump is just a weirdly shaped man. He's a big guy. He's had his fair share of McDonald's meals and Diet Cokes over the years. He's had more than a few Diet Cokes. Yeah, he's a bloated 80-plus-year-old man. So in this scenario, I'm probably kicking his ass. I think the strategy with him would be to just kind of bob and weave like Floyd Mayweather until he gets winded and just kind of falls over. Eventually, he's just going to collapse due to exhaustion. The turtle from Over the Hedge, I am destroying this bitch. Worthless, no charisma whatsoever, no leadership qualities to speak of, fiscally irresponsible. He's just a reprehensible figure. William Taft, all right, here comes the Redditor. Did you know he got stuck in a bathtub? Did you know that? Did you know they had to saw him out of it? Did you know that? Did you know they had to drop him off a 3-story building to get the bathtub to crack open so he could walk out? Did you know that? Did you know they had to shoot the bathtub with a bazooka? I know he tops the list in terms of bloated presidents on my new favorite website, which ranks presidents based on weight, which is honestly what inspired this whole video. I feel like I could just employ the same exhaustion strategy with him that I did Donald Trump. It says he's like over 300 pounds, and Trump isn't, but something about fat guys in the early 20th century just seem healthier than fat guy presidents now. I don't know, let's look at a photo of him. Holy shit, okay. I don't think I'm beating William Taft. I'll give William Taft the dub here. FDR, he had polio, so I'm just tipping his wheelchair over. I think it's over for FDR. Right after FDR, we of course had Loveland Frogman, also known as Loveland Frog, also known as the Loveland Lizard. As you guys know from history, Loveland Frogman, legendary president, known for just being a humanoid frog, standing at 4 feet tall. By far our strongest president, our nation's most principled and earnest leader. It's an easy loss for me. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It'd be an honor to even be in the ring with him. Not really too much to say about Obama. I think it'd be a relatively fair fight. He's not particularly big. He's quite tall. Woodrow Wilson, on the other hand, total nerd, kicking the shit out of Woodrow Wilson. Teddy Roosevelt might be the official Reddit president. He's kind of become like the Chuck Norris joke guy for millennials. He got shot and finished the speech. Yeah, he had a boxing match and went blind in an eye while he was president. He had a pet hyena and a badger. He once skydived playing electric guitar with his big floppy penis hanging out. Probably had more V-Bucks than all these presidents combined. I'm obviously losing this fight. He also just has one of the scariest pictures of any president I've ever seen. I don't know what it is, but this is like nightmare fuel. Lyndon B. Johnson.
Now, another thing, the crotch down where your nuts hang is always a little too tight. So when you make them up, give me an inch that I can let out there, because they cut me. They're just like riding a wire fence. Let's see if you can't leave me about an inch from where the zipper ends, round under my, back to my bunghole.
Fair fight. Gerald Ford, no one cares, moving on. Lastly, we have the concept of death. What presides over us more than that? Death just kind of is. I'm not too sure where you'd put death. I remember being 10 years old and first being introduced to the concept of death when my grandfather died. It was the first time I really processed the idea that I was going to one day die. And that was pretty traumatic. That was a very traumatic experience for a 10-year-old boy to have. To sit there and think things like, damn, I can only play Banjo-Kazooie for so long before my corpse starts to rot underneath the ground. And that was the first time I realized my time on Earth to play Game Boy was limited. There was an actual timer. I didn't know where the timer was or what it was at, but there was a timer for how much I would be able to play Game Boy on Earth before it was done, before I couldn't, before that ended. And that sucks. That fucking stinks. So we distract ourselves from the concept of death by doing things like eating Popeye's chicken, starting wars, playing mini golf, all those things. Maybe even making tier list videos about fictional fighting scenarios with people who are mostly already met this fate. So death, it just kind of is. And it always will be. Fair fight.